Following video is not made for kids. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello to my subscribers. This is the TFNG coming to you with what will hopefully be a successful live stream review. And tonight we are going to be taking a look at the Transformers action figure that's been at the top of my list since the year started. It is none other than the Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy Kingdom Leader Class Beast Wars Megatron, or as he's known on the box, Megatron Beast. So yes, this guy has been at the top of my list, and I gotta say, despite some parts of him being somewhat finicky to transform when he goes back and forth between robot mode and alt mode, he is one of the best figures of the Kingdom line. Yes. So for those of you who don't have much knowledge on Beast Wars Megatron, I'll get into that later in the video when I transform him. So here in his package, there's the window with Megatron. Some photos that were released before Megatron started to become available for online purchases. Apparently, there's at least one copy of Kingdom Megatron that exists out there where his face is painted red instead of purple. I'm glad it's purple on the final product since that is accurate to the Beast Wars cartoon. Here on this side of the box, and it continues around to the front, so it's on both sides. Here we have Megatron on in both his robot mode and his alternate mode of a T-Rex. And behind him you've got the Decepticon spaceship of the starship Nemesis crashed on the ground behind him, and you got some jungle terrain right around there. I love how they made it look somewhat like prehistoric plants to match it up with the fact that he's a T-Rex, even though I believe it was only 2 million. I think it was either 3 million or 2 million BC was the moment in Earth's history when the Beast Wars cartoon took place. So yeah, having plants from the Cretaceous is a little, even though it's appropriate for the type of alt mode Beast Wars Megatron has, as it's out of place for the Beast Wars cartoon series. Yes. So for those of you wondering, I keep saying yes. For those of you who don't have much knowledge on Beast Wars Megatron, that was his signature catchphrase. Was every time he'd speak a sentence, he'd end it by saying with great emphasis the word yes. And that's a feature of him that stuck with Transformers fans ever since he was introduced to the Transformers franchise back in 1996. So, wow, I can't believe it's been 25 years that Beast Wars Megatron has been terrorizing Transformers fans across the board. So here on the top of the box, you've got the Predacon symbol, since he's not only a Predacon Megatron is in fact the leader of the Predacons. Unfortunately, this copy that I got from Amazon on the top of the box got slashed, so there's a slash mark on the top of it, but as long as the Megatron action figure inside it, I didn't get damaged, I am okay with that. So, since this is Beast Wars Megatron, Hasbro and Takara Tomy decided to name him Megatron Beast on his box. Next, there's Takara Tomy's logo. You got the Transformers Generations logo. Here on the bottom of the box, you've got Hasbro. You've got age thing on there, although it's irrelevant. And when it comes to collecting Transformers action figures, here on the bottom you've got authentic Transformers. There are now so many third-party companies that Hasbro and Takara Tomy now have to say they make the official products. Here on this side of the box, you've got the poster image for the Transformers Kingdom line. You've got both Generation 1 Megatron and Galvatron on his face being slashed in half. You've got Unicron and Planet. You've got some other Transformers characters. I'm having to turn to this side. So you've got Beast Wars Megatron there in T-Rex mode. He's fighting off some generic Transformers. Over here on this side of the box, you've got the Nemesis. It's the Decepticon spaceship flying through space. You've got Black Arachnia. You've got Beast Wars Scorponok. You've got Dinobot. You've got the Golden Disc, which was the artifact that inspired all the responsible for all the events of the Beast Wars cartoon series. You've got the Autobot starship of the Ark crash landed and ended on Mount St. Hilary. Hasbro and Takara Tomy named the mountain that the Ark crash landed into. Here you've got Rhinox working on a device. Nice. I think that's Rhinox. Yeah, that's Rhinox. And then underneath the Ark, you've got Optimus Prime, Optimus Primal. You got Cheetor. You've got Rat Trap. And you got Bumblebee. You've got Tigertron. You've got Airazor. And who is that? Oh yeah. You also got RC. Who are ready to charge into battle. Into Transformers again. Transformers Kingdom logo. Master Far, Mr. Transformers Magic 57, 58 Community Central, Jay Holla. Welcome to the live stream chat. It's a Friday night, and someone told me once that Friday night is one of the worst nights of the week to do a live stream video, so there probably won't be too many people joining us in here, but hopefully they will be. They'll be joining soon if they can get around to it. Down to actually joining in. But thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. So here on this side of the box, we've got product photos of Megatron. There's his robot mode. There's his alt mode of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. And that was the feature of the Beast Wars series. That was one of the highlights of the Beast Wars series, and one of the reasons why it became a popular Transformers franchise. The characters in Transformers Beast Wars, they transformed from robots into actual animals, not robotic versions like the Generation 1 Transformers characters who turn into robotic versions of animals. No, the Transformers characters from the Beast Wars series transformed into actual animals with organic flesh on their exteriors to protect them from the environment of prehistoric Earth. So that was pretty amazing story-wise telling for the Beast Wars franchise that Hasbro and Takara Tomy came up with. I can't remember what studio did the Beast Wars series. It might have been Mainframe Studios. I don't remember off the top of my head. But here we have Megatron transforms back and forth between robot mode and T-Rex mode in just 27 steps. So that's pretty amazing looking. So without further delay, time for the unboxing. Now, I've been waiting since January to get a hold of Beast Wars Megatron. I thought I was going to come close a couple of times during February of getting Beast Wars Megatron adding into my collection, but it didn't work out. Thankfully, this past week, Amazon managed to get a few copies of Beast Wars Megatron in stock, and so I managed to snag one of them up for myself. So I'm pretty amazed that Amazon was able to have Megatron in stock. He's sold out right now from Amazon's own supplies. It's only third-party people who are scalping Kingdom Megatron off of Amazon right now. According to most websites, sometime between the end of the current month of March and the beginning of the next month, April, was when Beast Wars Megatron was going to suddenly be back in stock in large numbers. If that is the case, then the large numbers of Kingdom Megatron that retailers have been ordering have been selling out quickly. Particularly the Beast Wars characters are the ones that are selling faster than the Generation 1 Transformers characters that are being sold in the Kingdom line. I made the mistake that the Beast Wars characters might only be equally as popular as the G1 characters, and so for the Transformers Kingdom figures that I ordered from Amazon for Wave 2 of the Kingdom line, which is slowly here in the United States, Wave 2 of Kingdom is slowly starting to appear at retail stores such as Target and Walmart. But I made the mistake of not ordering a Voyager-class Dinobot. But I did pre-order Inferno, Airazor, and Huffer. I didn't pre-order Ractonite since I originally had no interest in getting the fossilizers. That was my mistake. Now, before we get to the actual Megatron on-action figure itself, one thing that Hasbro and Takara Tomy decided to bring back for the Kingdom line was collectible trading cards that have an image of the golden disc on the back of them. And unlike the previous Transformers line that had collector cards, which was the 2018 Transformers Power of the Primes line, unlike the Power of the Primes collector cards, in which you were guaranteed to get a collector card of the same Transformers character that was packaged in the box. Here for the Kingdom line, Hasbro and Takara Tomy decided to pack in random trading cards, so there's no guaranteeing which Transformers character and which collector card you're going to get with which Kingdom figure. And because of that, some of the Transformers Kingdom collector cards are rarer and more hard to find than others right now. Most of the video reviews I've seen on YouTube, apparently the rarest and most hard to find collector card for the Kingdom line right now is apparently the collector card for Dinobot. The only other Transformers Kingdom figure I managed to actually take out of the box of Megatron here was Voyager Class Primal, and with Primal I got Generation 1 Optimus Prime. So, time to see which collector card I got. Oh, no. No way. You guys, I can't believe which collector card I got with Beast Wars Megatron here. Are you ready to see who it is, everyone? Drumroll, please. Dinobot! I can't believe it. Only the second Kingdom figure I got, and it's Leader Class Megatron of all figures. But the collector card is the one everyone's looking for. It's Dinobot. I can't believe I got Dinobot with Megatron. Oh, that is unbelievable. I'm genuinely excited like this. This is not a rehearsed. Since I'm live streaming, this is not a rehearsed recording. I am generally overwhelmed with excitement at seeing this Dinobot collector card. Now, one of the gimmicks with these collector cards is that at the front of the card is actually a sticker, and when you peel it back, there's another image of the Transformers character you get on the back. So with Dinobot, the back card, the interior is him in his alt mode of a Velociraptor. You've got images of other Beast Wars characters, Scorponok, Black Arachnia, and Airazor in there. Beast modes. You also have Cheetor down there as well. But yeah, I cannot believe it. There's Dinobot. Jay Hollis says that there's two different cards that have Dinobot on them. Okay, so the Dinobot card that I got is the one where the exterior part of the collector card, which is actually a collectible sticker. That's the word I was looking for. So collector cards you get from Transformers Kingdom figures. The front of the collector card is actually a collectible sticker that you can take off and apply on a surface. So if you have a sticker book or a book of blank pages, you can put the collector stickers on the front of the collector cards on it, and then that leaves you free to have the collector card or be at its face value. So apparently, Jay Holla has just informed me in the live stream chat there's two different Dinobot trading cards you can find. So I got the one where the collectible sticker is Dinobot in his robot mode and has the word Predacon on the front of it. But yeah, from the video reviews I've seen, the collector cards with Dinobot are apparently more hard to find, or if they aren't hard to find, they're more sought after compared to the collector cards of the other characters in the Kingdom line. So yeah, thank you. You as a Christian, I have to say this. Thank you, Jesus. I got one of the Dinobot cards. I still have cards. I have to give a shout out at this point to a friend of mine, Autocorrect Primer. He sent me as a surprise gift the last deluxe class Kingdom figure that I needed to add to my Transformers collection, which is Cheetor. So I have 99%. I have all but one of the Wave 1 Kingdom Transformers figures now in my Transformers collection. The only Wave 1 Kingdom figure I'm missing is the only one that I've been uncertain about adding to my Transformers collection, which is the core class as Optimus Prime figure. I've been uncertain about whether or not if I want to actually get core class Optimus Prime and add him to my Transformers collection. I don't think the core class Transformers figures actually come with any of the collector cards. I think it's only deluxe class size and larger that has the collector cards in them. So right now I'm trying to get these plastic tie downs off of Megatron so I can hurry up and get him freed from his cardboard imprisonment. And just for a tip, for those of you who have trouble getting these plastic tie downs that Hasbro and Takara Tomy use to keep Transformers figures in place when they're inside their boxes, one of the biggest tools to use to get these plastic tie downs off and get your Transformers figure out of the box and actually start messing around with it is this, a pair of nail clippers. I find these are most effective in removing these plastic tie-downs from the box of a Transformers figure. I think I got most of them. Got that one, still need to get that one. I think that might be the last of it. Whoops. Trying not to make a mess here, and these things keep falling out of the back. Oh, missed one. Megatron's right side arm. Okay, screw that. Alrighty. And with that done, we finally have freed from his cardboard imprisonment. Here he is in all his splendor and glory. Glory, everyone. Transformers Kingdom, Leader Class, Beast Wars Megatron. Yes. So here he is, and I cannot believe I finally have this action figure in my hand. And I have been waiting since it was announced that Beast Wars Megatron was going to be one of the characters in the Kingdom line. I've been waiting to get a hold of this guy. Part of the reason for all my excitement with Kingdom Beast Wars Megatron is the fact that this has become the first and only action figure of Beast Wars Megatron that I have in my Transformers collection. So that's one of the reasons I've been really excited to get a hold of Megatron on and add him to my Transformers collection. But yeah, this is really exciting. So, for those of you wondering, Beast Wars Megatron is a separate character from Generation 1 Megatron. It's revealed in one episode of Transformers Beast Wars that Beast Wars Megatron named himself after Generation 1 Megatron. Another way to distinguish both Megatrons from each other is that Beast Wars Megatron is also known as Predacon Megatron, because that's the faction of Transformers that he leads. And this is the symbol they use. They're the Predacons. And Generation 1 Megatron is also known as Decepticon Megatron. So, having Beast Wars Megatron standing beside Generation 1 Megatron, it's the same thing as meeting two guys who are both named John's. If same name, but completely different individuals. Now, Beast Wars Megatron, and he does have he has somewhat decent amounts of articulation for a leader class Transformers figure, but just like the original Beast Wars Megatron figure, he does have some tiny bit of drawbacks to him. And by that, what I mean is that Beast Wars Megatron on his Tyrannosaurus Rex head becomes his right side hand. And in some episodes of the Beast Wars cartoon, Megatron was seen actually petting with his left side hand. He was when he was transformed into robot mode, Megatron was shown actually petting his T-Rex head, and it would actually blink when he did that, and so it was implied that Megatron's T-Rex head, when he was in robot mode, had its own distinct personality separate from Megatron himself. Now, when you open the T-Rex head, there's a 5mm port right there inside Megatron's mouth, T-Rex mouth. So if you have any blast effects from the Earth Siege or Earthrise eyes lines, you can put those in there, and you can have Megatron shooting lasers or breathing fire as if you were a dragon instead of a T-Rex. But yeah, that's really great, and I just love all the sculpted detail that went on the T-Rex head. Even when he's in robot mode, you can just look at all this, the skin, the detailing on the skin, his eyes, the nostrils for his nose, the fact that all of his teeth are painted white. It is a little bit of a drawback that his tongue isn't pink. It's actually ink. And no, my camera's not. It's not that my camera's picking up lighting differently. The tongue, it is a slightly darker shade of purple compared to the rest of the T-Rex head, but I think that's one case where it's. I think it would have been better if it was a different color than that. Now, it's kind of hard to tell, but if you look right here, Megatron's left side hand is a standard-sized Transformers fist. It has a 5mm hole in the center of the fist, so Megatron has the ability to hold 5mm weapons. However, when you look at his left side arm from this angle, because the tail, the T-Rex tail, sticks out in front of Megatron's left side hand, and his dedicated 5mm fist is unfortunately rendered useless in actually holding on to any weapons. The only weapons that you could insert into Megatron's left side hand, ones that have a 5mm post that is really, really long, because unfortunately the T-Rex tail itself, the part of it in front of his hand, it's stationary, and there isn't even a wrist swivel in Megatron's left side hand due to the transformation of it swinging back and forth on a hinge joint when you transform him into his beast mode. Now, as far as articulation goes, Megatron's articulation is somewhat limited due to the size of his backpack, which is basically the underbelly, back section, and the thighs of his T-Rex mode. So yeah, pretty much half of Beast Wars Megatron is what's known as a shell former. The exterior of his alt mode just covers up his robot mode instead of the robot actually transforming into it. And then I just noticed that Megatron has a rubber band and here on the back of him, and that's holding him together. See if I can get it off. There it goes. Okay, got that off. Off. On. Alrighty, that's done with. So, as far as articulation goes, Megatron's head, it can look up and down just a tiny bit. It is technically on a ball joint, but the ball joint is really stiff. He can look left and right very easily, but as far as him looking up and down, I actually don't recommend it. At his shoulder joints, he does have swivel joints, and his arms have the potential to rotate forwards and backwards 360 degrees, but bending Megatron's arms backward is again rendered useless due to the fact that his backpack kibble is right there. Here, his arms can go out about this much, but again, and because the T-Rex head forms one arm and the T-Rex tail ends up on another arm, he can't really have his arms pointed out sideways at a 180-degree angle. On both arms, he does have a swivel joint at the bicep. He does have hinged elbow joints, but for the T-Rex head arm, for his right side arm, to get the full amount of articulation, you have to rotate the T-Rex head upside down, and unfortunately, having the T-Rex head facing upside down when Megatron is in robot mode, that is not screen accurate to the Beast Wars cartoon. Megatron always had the T-Rex head still facing upwards when he was in its robot mode. So for his right side arm, you have to decide if you want more articulation versus cartoon accuracy with how the T-Rex head is positioned. And the T-Rex head itself, which the base of the neck, which is basically Megatron's wrist joint, it is a hinge that moves up and down, but that's just articulation joint mainly for T-Rex mode. And he doesn't have much of a swivel joint in his arms, his left side arm anyway. He does have a waist joint, so that is pretty impressive that he has a waist joint. He has universal jointed hips in his legs, so his legs can go outward. They only go outward this far due to these shin guard, thigh guards he has here. hair on the top of his legs, but I can't complain too much about that. He doesn't have a swivel joint at his thigh. That's actually at his thigh. It's actually at his knees. So he has double jointed knees. He has swivels, and he has hinges there. And he does have ankle rockers, so his feet can go inward and outward if you want. But on my copy of Megatron, those ankle rockers feel somewhat stiff, so I'm not going to bother transforming them. Now, one thing to note about Beast Wars Megatron on the new Kingdom Leader class figure here is that half of his parts are the most infamous of which are these right here, the T-Rex thighs that end up being the exterior of his robot mode backpack. These parts of Megatron's T-Rex mode, they aren't made out of solid plastic. They're actually made out of a soft, rubbery plastic, and it actually feels like they're very thick rubber instead of actual plastic instead. And that's all of the parts of the T-Rex. And that's true for all of the parts of the T-Rex, it almost feels like. Even Megatron's T-Rex feet, which are also his robot mode feet, feel like they're made out of that rubbery plastic stuff. Honestly, it almost feels like almost all of the purple T-Rex parts on Megatron feel like that rubber plastic instead of the hard, solid plastic. I honestly don't know if the designers at Hasbro and Takara Tomy did that on purpose to make it seem like the organic parts of the beast mode are rubbery plastic, so that you can be reminded that these aren't supposed to be made of metal. It's actually organic tissue, and the parts that are parts of Megatron's body that are metal are made out of solid plastic to distinguish which parts of him are organic and which parts are metallic. But yeah, so as far as standing up on a solid surface, I've seen some people have to lean Megatron slightly forward due to the fact that his backpack is somewhat heavy. I apologize for not having a solid surface for him to stand on. But yeah, I just cannot believe how amazed Megatron is. One last thing to note about Beast Wars Megatron is that apparently there were some copies of him that got out where he apparently has an alternate head where the teeth in his jaw are opened up and he's grimacing like he's growling at someone, and that image is actually used on Megatron's face on the artwork used on his box. It's rumored that the alternate head might be used on one of the repaints of Megatron that's coming later this year. It's rumored, but not 100% confirmed, that Kingdom Beast Wars Megatron is going to be used 2 more times. Apparently, he's going to be repainted in a mostly red repaint into a Transformers character named T-Rex X, which is spelled T-WRECKS. As T-Rex was from a very short-lived line called Transformers Dinobots that was released back in the year 2000 during the final wave of the Transformers Beast Machines line. And it's also rumored, but there isn't any confirmation at all, so please don't quote me on this, but it's rumored that Kingdom Beast Wars Megatron is going to be repainted and retooled into the Tyrannosaurus Rex from the film Jurassic Park arc, and that is going to be one of 2 Transformers figures released in a 2-pack. The other Transformers figure is apparently going to be the Jurassic Park Jeep that will be retooled from Siege Hound, and that's going to be the next collaborative Transformers figures, and it'll be the first collaborative 2-pack. That is the Jurassic Park Jeep and the Jurassic Park Tyrannosaurus Rex. So before we transform Megatron into his beast mode, for a quick size comparison, here he is compared to the only other Kingdom figure that I've taken out of the box so far. Here he is next to his arch rival, Kingdom Optimus Primal. And yeah, I just love the size difference between these two. Beast Wars Megatron towered over Optimus Primal in the Beast Wars series. And I just love the fact that he's so much taller than Primal. I've always liked the idea of the heroic Transformers leader being smaller than the villainous Transformers leader, because it gives you a David and Goliath situation. And so I thoroughly enjoy the fact that Kingdom Optimus Prime was only a Voyager class figure, and Megatron is a leader class figure because of that David and Goliath scenario where the villain villain is physically larger, and it gives the hero a disadvantage at first glance. But yes, all in all, I just cannot get over how amazing Megatron is. He is absolutely incredible. Yes. Alrighty, so unfortunately, I admit that I made the mistake of not watching a video before I started live streaming of how to transform a Beast Wars Megatron, so I'm hoping the instruction sheets will be of somewhat help. So just bear in mind with me here as I go through Megatron's transformation. Alrighty, so as I transform him, I will briefly share some of the history on Beast Wars Megatron. And so, apparently Beast Wars Megatron, no, that's not what I meant. So, Megatron from the Beast Wars series named himself after Generation 1 Megatron, and the main reason why he named himself was because when he discovered in Cybertron's archives all of the history of all the conquests and the battles that the original Generation 1 Megatron figure had, and that inspired Beast Wars Megatron to become the tyrannical tyrant that he's shown being in the actual Beast Wars cartoon series. Now, I said a moment ago that part of the image on the Transformers, one of the images featured on the Transformers Kingdom line is was one of the main features of the Transformers Beast Wars series, and it was the object that inspired Megatron to unleash the Beast Wars cartoon. It's all the storytelling that went on inside of it. So, what happened was one day while he was stealing information from Cybertron's archives, Beast Wars Megatron came across an ancient artifact left behind by the original Generation 1 Megatron, known as the Golden Disc. So the Golden Disc was the artifact that was responsible for all of the events in the Transformers Beast Wars franchise and cartoon series. End. End. What it was is it was a recording. You could make a joke that the Golden Disc was a home video DVD that the original Megatron left behind for any future Decepticon and Predacon tyrants to be inspired to finally defeat the Autobots and any Transformers that followed in their footsteps and being heroic members of Cybertron. On's history. So, this one clip on Megatron's tail is proving to be quite frustrating, so I think I might just give up on it and move on to the next thing. See if I can get it in here without breaking it. Is that what's wrong? No. So anyways, Megatron, Generation 1 Megatron left a message explaining to any future Transformer tyrants the moment in history when the Transformers that left Cybertron when Cybertron was running out of energy, and the Autobots left on board the Ark, the spaceship named the Ark. Mimo224, hello and welcome to the live stream chat. Sorry for interrupting my recap of the series, but when the Autobots left on the Ark, the Decepticons followed on the Starship Nemesis, and what happened was, as the Transformers that were on those two starships, the Decepticons boarded the Ark, tried to raid it, tried to beat the Autobots in battle, and Generation 1 Megatron decided to leave a message behind on the golden disc explaining that there was a time frame of 4 million years when the Transformers that were on those two spaceships were essentially in stasis lock and were trapped in comas. And he left a message behind telling any future Decepticon tyrants that if they wanted to defeat the Autobots and any of their descendants, such as the Maximals, if anyone wanted to conquer Cybertron, all of Cybertron, then that was the moment in the Transformers history to do so. Was the 4 million year time frame when Optimus Prime and the Autobots and Megatron and the Decepticons were all trapped in stasis lock on board the Ark and were in comas. So Megatron used the golden disc to time travel back in time and change history so that Optimus Prime would die, and without their leader, the Autobots would gradually be defeated by the Decepticons, and Megatron and the Decepticons would without the Autobots to stop them, would go on and fulfill their goals of intergalactic conquest and would ultimately conquer the universe. So that was Beast Wars Megatron's goal, was to time travel back into the past and change history by murdering Optimus Prime while he was trapped in stasis lock. And that actually didn't come until near the end of the Beast Wars franchise, and part of the main reason why that was when the Transformers did eventually time travel to the past, and they arrived on prehistoric Earth. All the Transformers, including Megatron, were amazed to discover that prehistoric Earth had two secrets that weren't recorded by Generation 1 Megatron on the Golden Disc, because as the Transformers that arrived on Earth and were reactivated by Teletran 1 in the year 1984 had no idea that prehistoric Earth had two secrets to it. The first secret of prehistoric Earth was that it was actually being used by a race of aliens known as the Vok for scientific experiments. And that the second secret was that at prehistoric Earth had an abundant supply of energon. So the abundant supply of energon found on prehistoric Earth prevented the Transformers from staying transformed into their robot modes too long, since the abundant supply of energon wanted to overload and shorten out their circuits. So I'm hoping I'm transforming Megatron correctly. I think I am. So because of the Vok's presence on Earth, all the Transformers, including Megatron, actually weren't certain if they had actually time traveled to prehistoric Earth, because there were moons orbiting around the planet. And due to the abundant supply of energon, during the first season of the Beast Wars cartoon series, Beast Wars Megatron decided originally to abandon his original plan and of trying to find the Ark and changing history by murdering Optimus Prime. Due to the abundant supply of energon, he decided to start a brand new goal of having the having the Predacons merely harvest and use the abundant supply of energon in order to try and defeat Optimus Primal and the Maximals. Okay, I have that flipped upside down. And so Megatron decided to alter his plans from changing history to merely using the abundant supply of energon to try and defeat Optimus Primal and the Maximals. But once the discovery of the Bach was made known to both the Maximals and the Predacons, and the Bach, when they revealed themselves, both the Maximals and the Predacons were uncertain if the Bach had hostile intentions or not, but the Bach quickly revealed that they were not friends of the Maximals and Predacons. They were, in fact, enemies of the Transformers due to the fact that the Bach had come to the self-proclamation that they had the right to use prehistoric Earth by whatever means they pleased, and could experiment on any of the life forms, such as the proto-humans, the prehistoric humans, and do whatever science experiments they wanted to on planet Earth's own life forms, and to make certain that the Transformers knew that the Bach were a threat. They were not any potential friends to the Transformers. When they captured Optimus Primal, the Bach revealed themselves to Primal, taking on the form of none other than Unicron, the Chaos Bringer. And after defeating the Bach, Optimus Primal was almost destroyed, but luckily he managed to come back to life in the end. But Megatron tricked Optimus Primal, and with the Bach defeated, and believing Optimus Primal was gone, even though he came back just a short time later, with the defeat of the Bach, another thing that happened was that the abundant supply of raw energon on prehistoric Earth was also destroyed when the Bach's spaceship exploded. So Megatron realized that he had to go back to his original plan of changing history by finding the Ark and murdering Optimus Prime and making it so that instead of the Autobots, the Decepticons won the war. And so I think it was only 10,000 years in the future when the Beast Wars characters existed originally, and that was the moment in history when the Autobots upgraded into the Maximals and the Decepticons had upgraded into the Predacons. Was just 10,000 years in the future from the time when Optimus Prime and Decepticon Megatron originally existed. So yeah, not that far. Yeah, the Predacons and Maximals of the Beast Wars characters, they didn't really time travel too far from the future to have much change on Cybertron's history. Trying to make sure everything's lined up here. Here, Transformers and video games, hello and welcome. Thank you. Yes, I did manage to find a copy of Beast Wars Megatron, courtesy of Amazon. And now that I'm transforming him in hand for the first time, I can honestly see why everyone has been saying that Beast Wars Megatron is a real pain in the neck to transform correctly. Alrighty, got those flipped around. And so, Mimo224, he said earlier in the live stream chat that splitting Megatron's waist is the most difficult part of the art and to be careful. So, here we go. First time splitting his waist apart. Alright, and I think I got it without any plastic chipping off. At least I hope that's the case. Okay, so I can see why splitting the waist can be a pain in the neck. Like these hinge joints are joints on Megatron's robot mode pelvis that form his T-Rex pelvis. They are super tight. Get over there. One side done, now for the other. Alright, phew, that was a nightmare. Right now, what's proving to be the most difficult part is keeping the two halves of Megatron's T-Rex underbelly holding together. That's proving to be the most difficult part for me right now. Alrighty, let's see. Okay, so when you fold this down, when you fold this part down, it'll tab into place and you'll hear a snap. And you'll hear it click into place when you've got it hooked on properly, so. For some reason it's not wanting to click into place, and I'm hoping that it will. It'll just in case it not clicking into place prevents Megatron from transforming correctly the rest of the way. Okay, so that part is refusing to click into place. And I can see why. Clearance space is very small. So anyways, long story short, for what I was talking about with the Beast Wars series, Megatron came very close to achieving his goal of changing history by murdering Optimus Prime. Optimus Primal came back, defeated Megatron's plan, and with the help of the other Maximals, the Predacons were eventually defeated, and Megatron had to concede defeat at the hands of Optimus Primal and the Maximals. Alright, so that part refuses to click into place. See if I can transform Megatron without it actually being clipped in. I know I've lost half the people who came into the live stream chat earlier. I know that they've already left to watch other videos or do things more important than hearing me babble on about Beast Wars Megatron. Alrighty, I've got a feeling that if it doesn't click into place, that Megatron's legs won't transform correctly. Okay, I think that's as good as it's going to get. You got John Mai, hello and welcome. Transformers and Video Games asking, am I happy with Beast Wars Megatron? I am, even though he is somewhat of a pain to transform back and forth between his robot mode and his T-Rex mode. Transformers and Video Games, I really am happy to finally have Kingdom Megatron in my Transformers collection. This has become the first and only action figure of Beast Wars Megatron that I own, so I'm really happy to have him in my Transformers collection at last. Did all that. Okay, so get his legs straightened out. Get them positioned into place. Finally, I had to move the eggs out of the way to get that thing clicked into place properly. Okay, see if we can fix this again. So yeah, some of the hinge joints on Kingdom Megatron are super tight, others are a little loose. Others rely on the softer rubbery plastic to transform correctly. But once you get everything lined up and you can get everything clicked into place, it can, and it is, Ace, you can successfully transform Megatron into both of his modes. Everything's lined up. Are we there? I think we are. Yes, I think we are there. Yes. Alrighty. So, here is Beast Wars Megatron finally transformed into his alternate mode of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. And I gotta say, he is super impressive looking. Yes. So, he does have fairly decent articulation for a T-Rex. His head can swivel left and right slightly, but you put yourself at risk of having some of the panel lines go out of place. He's ideally designed to open his mouth up this much, as you can see by the sculpted skin flaps that connect the lips on his lower and upper jaws. But he can actually open his mouth up this much and make it look like his jaw has actually been broken. And again, there's that 5mm peg, so you can have, if you have any of the Siege or Earthrise Transformers figures, the weapons accessory, he's the blast effects, the word I was looking for. If you have any of the blast effects from those series hanging around, you can put those in Beast Wars Megatron's mouth and make it look as though he's shooting lasers out at his enemies. So, pretty much the only drawback I can find with Beast Wars Megatron is the fact that there's one joint I forgot to do. We have to try and shove up his legs into these tabs on his thighs to make sure they're transformed correctly. Alright, so pretty much the only gripe I have with Megatron and his T-Rex mode is that if you want to get his legs standing up, standing up straight. Then unfortunately you do have to get them in that straightforward position, you do end up having them not line up correctly with the rubbery plastic bits on his T-Rex hips. And if you want the legs to line up with those hip pieces, then you end up giving Megatron a sprawl-legged position in his T-Rex mode, and so you can rectify that by using the ankle rockers to make his feet line up straight. But yeah, other than the way the hips on his T-Rex mode transform, all around, I cannot get over how incredible a Transformers figure Beast Wars Megatron is. During the 1990s, when the Beast Wars franchise was in full swing, most people still believed that Tyrannosaurus Rexes stood upright and walked forward like this. But during the mid to late 2000s, paleontologists analyzed the fossilized remains of Tyrannosaurus Rex and other two-legged dinosaurs, and they determined that the T-Rex actually stood more like this, with the body, with the entire body, the head and the tail being parallel with the ground that they ran on. So yeah, T-Rex, it did not support the weight of its body by both its legs and its tail. All the weight was supported just by the legs alone. And the way Megatron's Beast Wars head is positioned and the way his knee joints bend, if you want to get him into the more 1990s T-Rex mode where he's standing upright, you can do that. But if you want to get him into what scientists have determined was the more anatomically correct position where he's standing with his whole body parallel to the ground, then you can have Beast Wars Megatron in that position as well. I apologize, the video's gone on much longer than I wanted it to be, so I won't transform Optimus Primal into his beast mode of a gorilla. But for a size comparison with another T-Rex Transformer, here is Kingdom Beast Wars Megatron compared to Power of the Prime's Voyager-class Grimlock. I still do not have the Studio Series 86 movie Grimlock figure in my Transformers collection. Actually, I've been uncertain if I actually want to get that leader-class version of Grimlock. But yes, for a size comparison with another T-Rex Transformer, here is Kingdom Beast Wars Megatron compared to Power of the Prime's Voyager-class Grimlock, and as you can see, there is somewhat of a size difference. Now, one last thing that I will say about the Transformers Beast Wars series is that when Megatron found the Ark, when he broke in and when he murdered Optimus Prime by blasting at his face point blank, one thing that Beast Wars Megatron revealed to audiences that was somewhat of a stunning surprise to find out, for Beast Wars fans to find out, was that the Beast Wars Transformers characters, the Maximals and the Predacons, they are much smaller than the Autobots and the Decepticons are. And I saw a video several years ago explaining why the Beast Wars characters are so much smaller than the Generation 1 characters. Apparently, it was a story that was told in one of the Transformers comic books right around the time when the Beast Wars franchise was in full swing. And so, what happened was that apparently, within the fictional storyline of the Transformers Generation 1 franchise, apparently the Autobots and Decepticons, when the Micromasters appeared on scene, the Micromasters, since they used a whole lot less energon than the standard-sized Transformers did, the decision was made that all Transformers would be the same tiny size as the Micromasters, and that the Micromasters basically became the new standard size for the Transformers. So by the time the Autobots and the Decepticons became the Maximals and the Predacons, they were the same size as the Generation 1 Micromasters, because the Transformers never increased their body size to what they traditionally were. So that's the reason why in the scene when Beast Wars Megatron murders Optimus Prime, his entire body is the same size as Optimus Prime's head. because the Transformers shrank their bodies so they would use up less energon and be able to conserve more energy for themselves. So yeah, that was an interesting bit of trivia to find out was that the Maximals and Predacons basically evolved from the Micromaster Transformers. But yeah, I just love all the sculpted detailing here on Megatron's T-Rex mode. I can see why other Transformers fans and collectors have said that these thigh pieces, not only because they're made out of rubber, but because of how the joints line up, that can be a bit of a pain, but I'm not going to be OCD about those joints not lining up properly. But yeah, I just love T-Rex Megatron. Some Transformers fans and collectors have made references to Barney due to the fact that Beast Wars Megatron is a mostly purple Tyrannosaurus Rex. But yeah, I just love having Megatron on in my Transformers collection. I love finally having a action figure based off of Beast Wars Megatron in my Transformers collection. I'm trying to stand him up here on my floor. Since it's a carpeted surface, it's proving to be a little difficult to do so. So, Megatron keeps one. So, just be careful that when you do transform Megatron into his T-Rex mode, if you decide to stand him up on a flat surface, just be careful that he will want to try and tip forward due to the fact that most of the weight in his T-Rex mode is here on the front of his body. Right here, this area right here, which is Megatron's T-Rex chest, that's also the middle torso of his robot mode. So Megatron has more weight on the front half of his T-Rex mode compared to the tail. Autocorrect Primer, hello and welcome. Says he wanted to stop by before going to bed. Thank you. John May says he wants to see how the Unicron things ends up. I do not. I have no prospects on getting the HasLab Unicron figure, John May. So I honestly have no comments on HasLab Unicron. On Autocorrect Primer. Now he has to go to bed. Good night. Thank you for stopping by, Autocorrect Primer. Primer says he likes Power of the Prime's Grimlock. Grimlock, it's not a bad figure by any means. So, but yes, like I said, since I'm live streaming for the sake of time, I'm not going to transform Optimus Primal into his beast mode, but I might take some photos and post them on my new Discord channel that I just started today. With help from a good friend of mine. Perkle66, aka Perkle66, aka Megatron is Primal. So big shout out to him for helping me start my own Discord server on Discord. But yes, this has been my video review of the Transformers Kingdom Leader Class Beast Wars Megatron. I highly recommend you get this guy, even though he has some finicky panel sections when he's transformed into his beast mode of a T-Rex, and it can be somewhat of a pain actually transforming him back and forth between T-Rex mode and robot mode. Those gripes and nitpicks, they do not deter me from having Kingdom Beast Wars Megatron in hand. I highly recommend you get this guy. And adding him to your Transformers collection. I also recommend you get Kingdom Optimus Primal. But yes, this has been my video review on Transformers Kingdom Leader Class Beast Wars Megatron, and he is a must-have for your Transformers collection. Yes. So, John Mai is asking in the live stream chat, what were the Cybertronians fighting over again? Which one's John Mai, the Autobots and Decepticons, or the Maximals and the Predacons? Maximals and Predacons were originally fighting over the abundant supply of Energon, but then, after they encountered a race of aliens called the Bach, and the abundant supply of Energon was destroyed, Beast Wars Megatron revealed that he actually time traveled to prehistoric Earth to change history by murdering Optimus Prime, so that's what the Beast Wars was about. Okay, he's saying the Generation 1 Autobots and Decepticons. So basically, John May, the Autobots and Decepticons at the start of the Generation 1 franchise, they had no energy sources at all. No electricity, no water, no fuel supply, nothing. Cybertron, the Transformers' home planet of Cybertron, was a dying world. And so what they were fighting over was their own survival. They were fighting for whatever energy resources they could get a hold of just to keep living and staying alive. That's one of the main reasons why the Autobots built the Ark spaceship, pictured right here in the poster image of the Kingdom line. They built the Ark spaceship because since there weren't any energy resources left on planet Cybertron, the Autobots, under Optimus Prime's leadership, they decided the only place to find new sources of energy was out in the universe. So they built a starship to go off and explore and find new sources of energy that they could use to restore life to their planet and keep themselves going. But Megatron and the Decepticons wanted all the energy sources for themselves since they wanted to conquer and dominate the universe, and so that's what all the fighting was about, John May. So thank you guys all once again. I will leave a link in the video description to my brand new Discord server. I hope you guys will come by and join. There's lots of stuff happening on Discord. Once again, I highly recommend getting Beast Wars Megatron if you can. Do not pay a scalper more than what his retail price tag is even though he is a great Transformers action figure, Beast Wars Megatron, he is worth the retail price tag of a leader class Transformers figure of $50, but he is definitely not worth more than that. So if you can avoid paying a scalper more than the $50 that Beast Wars Megatron goes for, or Jay Hollis said in the live stream chat that because Beast Wars Megatron is being released again, and in Wave 2 of the Kingdom Leader class figures, he's being released alongside Kingdom Ultra Magnus. Beast Wars Megatron should be much easier to find now during March and the coming months of April and May compared to January and February when he was very difficult to find. So yeah, I highly recommend you get Beast Wars Megatron out of your collection. And that is all I have to say on that. And if you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. Ring the bell icon for notifications. And remember, wash your hands before and after you leave your home. Always wear a mask when you go outdoors. And until next time, you guys, transform and roll out. Goodbye, everyone.